Victor Mature's life in Hollywood was shaped by contradiction. He was admired by audiences, respected by directors, and yet never fully comfortable with the industry that made him famous. Unlike many stars of his era, Mature did not chase prestige or critical validation. He approached acting as honest work rather than sacred art, believing movies existed to entertain and connect with everyday people. This outlook made him popular with audiences, but occasionally placed him at odds with colleagues who took a more self-serious view of cinema. Mature carried himself with humor and humility, often downplaying his own success. That easygoing nature defined most of his relationships, yet there were rare exceptions where deep philosophical differences created lasting tension. His story is not one of scandal or ego, but of a working-class man navigating fame without ever surrendering his grounded identity. In many ways, Victor Mature remained an outsider in Hollywood, and he was comfortable staying that way. From working-class roots to big dreams, born Victor John Mature in 1913 in Louisville, Kentucky, he grew up in a modest household shaped by discipline and necessity. His father, an Austrian-born craftsman, and his mother of Swiss heritage, instilled in him the value of hard work from an early age. Money was limited, and Victor took on small jobs to help support the family, learning responsibility long before fame entered his life. Despite these humble beginnings, he was drawn to the idea of something larger than his surroundings. After time at the Kentucky Military Institute and a stretch of odd jobs in Chicago, Victor headed west with little more than determination. He enrolled at the Pasadena Community Playhouse, a respected training ground for actors, where his natural presence quickly stood out. His journey was not polished or privileged, but built through effort, discipline, and a willingness to take risks in pursuit of opportunity. Rising to stardom through presence, not pretension, Victor Mature's screen career took off in the late 1930s and reached its peak during the 1940s and 1950s. His breakthrough came with 1 Million BC, where his physicality and expressive face carried a performance with minimal dialogue. Audiences responded to his authenticity. Mature did not rely on elaborate technique or theatrical flourishes. Instead, he projected sincerity and emotional clarity. During World War II, he paused his career to serve in the U.S. Coast Guard, earning respect for putting duty before stardom. When he returned to film, he expanded his range, appearing in noir dramas, westerns, and epic productions. His performance as Doc Holliday in My Darling Clementine revealed surprising sensitivity, while Samson and Delilah cemented his iconic status. Through it all, Mature remained grounded, treating acting as a craft rather than a pedestal, which only strengthened his connection with audiences. Humor, humility, and a different philosophy of acting. Victor Mature was famously self-deprecating, often joking about his own abilities with a line that became legend, that he was not an actor despite a long filmography. This humility was genuine, not performative. He believed acting should serve the story and the audience, not the ego of the performer. That belief shaped how he worked on set and how he viewed the industry. Mature valued professionalism, preparation, and respect for the crew as much as screen presence. He disliked pretension and had little patience for attitudes that placed art above people. This outlook endeared him to many collaborators, but also set him apart during a time when Hollywood increasingly celebrated method acting and intellectual intensity. Mature did not reject artistry. He simply rejected arrogance. His sense of humor, steady work ethic, and lack of self-importance became trademarks, making him both approachable and reliable in an industry often defined by extremes. A clash of worldviews on the robe. The most well-known professional tension in Victor Mature's career emerged during the filming of The Robe. Sharing the screen with Richard Burton, Mature found himself opposite an actor whose philosophy of performance sharply contrasted with his own. Burton, trained in classical theater, approached acting as high art, while Mature viewed it as storytelling meant to reach ordinary people. Their working relationship was polite but distant, marked by mutual misunderstanding rather than open conflict. Mature felt that Burton looked down on his more straightforward style, while Burton seemed unimpressed by Mature's populist approach. These differences were never about competition, but about values. Mature believed sincerity mattered more than technique, while Burton valued intellectual rigor. The tension reflected a larger shift happening in Hollywood at the time, as new styles challenged older traditions. For Mature, the experience reinforced his belief that success did not require approval from everyone, only honesty in one's work. Professional standards and personal boundaries. Beyond philosophical differences, Victor Mature placed great importance on professionalism. He believed showing up prepared and respectful was a responsibility, not an option. When he felt those standards were compromised, it left a lasting impression. Mature did not enjoy conflict and rarely spoke harshly about colleagues, but he did not forget moments that challenged his principles. To him, discipline and reliability were signs of character. He lived modestly compared to many stars, preferring golf courses and quiet routines over social spectacle. This lifestyle reflected his belief that fame should never excuse poor behavior. While others embraced the excesses of celebrity culture, Mature remained detached, choosing stability over spectacle. These values sometimes made him seem old-fashioned, but they also earned him quiet respect. Even when disagreements lingered, Mature chose distance over drama, allowing his actions rather than arguments to define his stance within the industry. Love, marriage, and a life beyond the screen. Victor Mature's personal life was full and complex, marked by several marriages before he found lasting stability later in life. Each relationship reflected a different stage of his journey, from early ambition to eventual contentment. His final marriage to opera singer Loretta Gay Sabana brought him the peace he had long sought. Together, they raised their daughter Victoria, and family became his primary focus. Mature took pride in fatherhood, embracing a quieter, more grounded existence. Away from the screen, he enjoyed outdoor life, music, and time with loved ones. Fame no longer defined him. He viewed retirement not as an ending, but as a reward for decades of work. His ability to step away without regret reflected a rare confidence, one rooted not in applause but in self-knowledge. For Mature, fulfillment came not from legacy alone, but from living honestly and fully beyond the spotlight. Stepping away on his own terms. As Hollywood evolved, Victor Mature gradually stepped away from leading roles, choosing independence over reinvention. He made occasional appearances, often poking fun at his own image, showing a willingness to laugh at himself that never faded. His final years were spent in comfort and privacy, far from the pressures of fame. Mature understood when to leave and did so without bitterness. Unlike many stars who struggled with fading relevance, he embraced change with grace. He had already proven everything he needed to prove. His legacy was secure, not because of awards or acclaim, but because audiences remembered him. He valued peace over visibility, choosing a life measured by contentment rather than headlines. That decision reflected the same working-class sensibility that guided him from the beginning. Victor Mature never needed constant validation. He trusted that his work, once done honestly, could speak for itself long after he stepped away. A legacy of grounded strength and lasting impact. Victor Mature passed away in 1999, leaving behind a body of work that continues to resonate. He was honored with a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, but his true legacy lies in how he lived rather than how he was celebrated. He represented a generation of actors who valued reliability, humility, and connection over prestige. Mature proved that success did not require self-importance and that strength could exist without aggression. Even his rare conflicts revealed a man guided by principle rather than ego. He remained consistent in a changing industry, refusing to compromise his values for approval. Today, His films stand as reminders of a time when presence mattered as much as performance. Victor Mature's story is not one of rivalry or resentment, but of individuality, discipline, and quiet confidence. He lived as he worked, steadily, sincerely, and without apology.